This week on the Gun Room, we're field testing the latest self-defense ammunition from Norma. The Norma 9mm MHP round is a monolithic hollow point, as the name would suggest, and it's made out of solid copper. Now, it starts out life as a solid chunk of copper. They bore a hollow point in there. Those hollow points are then skived and the nose is mushed together in order to form that profile, which should feed pretty well in any feed ramp. The bullet itself is nickel plated, and there's the same nickel plating on the brass case, which should again feed off a pretty good lubricity in any magazine. And we're going to see now if its claimed 1312 feet per second muzzle velocity actually translates into those kind of numbers at a 3-inch barrel P365. Now, we're going to set up a clear ballistics gel block down there, shoot it into that at around about 10 feet and see how it performs. Now, chronographing ammunition is chronically boring, so I'm going to do that off camera and I'll give you the results below. Let's go check it out. Let's have a look at the wound channel this bullet has created. Looking from the entrance point, it looks like the neck is about 1.5 inches long before the full expansion sets in. And then we've got right about 10.5 inches of penetration in the block. Now, I usually find that I get 10% or so more penetration in true ballistics gel rather than clear ballistics. So extrapolating that, the bullet just hits the FBI minimum threshold for penetration right about 12 inches. If we dig the bullet out, let's see how big it's expanded. Wow, that's some impressive expansion. That's probably why it didn't penetrate all the way through the block. Throwing a quick tape measure on there, we've got 9mm bullet expanded to pretty much 7/8 diameter, and it's completely held together. It hasn't shed any petals whatsoever. Now, from a 3-inch barreled handgun, that's not bad performance at all. I'm going to fire it now out of the 9-inch barrel of an MP5 and see how the additional velocity affects its performance. All right, let's see how it fares out of an MP5. Despite having another 6 inches of barrel out of an MP5 compared to a P365, the results are pretty consistent. We've got full expansion and we've got about 11.5 inches of penetration in the block as compared to the 365, which is about 1 inch less. So add about 10% in terms of performance in a genuine ballistics gel block rather than a clear ballistics block, and you get to that minimum 12% threshold. I'm going to cut the bullet out and we'll check out the expansion right now. Both of these wound tracks are arrow straight. There's almost no deviation whatsoever, which is good to see. And as you can see, we have full expansion. The petals are curved back a little bit more as compared to the 365, but we still have, if you look on here, right about 7/8 of an inch in terms of diameter of the expanded projectile. Again, no petals have been lost, so integrity is maintained. And I would imagine that this bullet would have pretty good performance in intermediate barriers. We can check that out later if you guys want us to. Leave us a comment below and we'll set up some intermediate barriers and shoot these through also. One thing I noticed when shooting these rounds earlier is that recoil impulse is very light. So if you have somebody who's recoil sensitive, the Norma MHP would make a really good addition to their arsenal. In terms of ballistic performance and penetration, it just about meets minimum criteria in terms of overall penetration, but expansion, as you can see, is pretty decent. 7/8 inch diameter, despite being fired out of a 3-inch barrel versus a 9-inch barrel. Very consistent performance. Check it out. Norma MHP, monolithic hollow point.